Greetings, Yashar'el, Yehuda. I'm working on it, my brothers and sisters. It's your brother DFG. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. I hope this morning or this Shabbat finds you and your family in a very good place, a very safe place, and a place where you can take time for reflection, meditation, and making sure that in these last and evil days that you are preparing yourself for the return of Abayas, as well as hearing direction and instruction from him, for which we as Yashar'el should be thinking about and getting ourselves ready. And when I mean ready, I'm talking about preparedness, preparation, and all of the pieces that go along with that, that you find yourself or you're thinking in terms of how do I prepare myself so that when Abayas bring forth the word to me to move, I am responsive and I can move. And I say that because I want to make sure we all understand, my brothers and sisters, there's a difference between being trapped into something or being warned. And our study from this past Wednesday night, which I'll be reviewing, of course, we talked about, some of the study was centered around that. What happened when the prophet, the man of Elohim, was trapped? And what did Abayas do for that man? And as we discover and peel back the layers to get a better understanding of the power of Abayas, I want to make sure we also remember that Abayas used that same man to warn his people. And this was Elijah. And Elijah was someone who came on. He was the prophet that followed Elijah. And to give you the backstory, what we're going to be studying in 2 Kings chapter 6, Elijah is now picking up the pieces after Jezebel and after Moab has been killed. I'm sorry, brothers and sisters. After Ahab has been killed. And his son Jeroboam takes over. And of course, he makes a deal with the Moabites or with one of the heathens. And before you know it, they turn around and stab him in the back. Again, you can read about that in 2 Kings chapter 3. But in addition to that, because of the wickedness of Jezebel and Ahab, there's a drought that's been going on in the land for almost 3.5 years. And it was to the point where it was at that point where it was horrific. And that's what's coming to today, brothers and sisters. That's right, how you say, around the horizon. And too many of our people, Israel, are having that same mindset, the post, Elijah dealing with the wicked prophets of Baal who were lined up with the kings of Israel at that particular time. Now, our people had shifted from Yahuwah to some other Elohim, including the Christians' Elohim. And I know someone say, well, the Christian Elohim is Yahuwah. No, the Christian Elohim is Jesus. Because Elohim, your Elohim is who can save you. Your Elohim is who can redeem you. Your Elohim is to whom you belong. And if you're turning and you're praying or you're bowing down to any other Elohim except for Yahuwah, then that is your Elohim. Unfortunately, a lot of our people because of traditions of men, customs that are passed down, they're believing that this behavior is okay. That this behavior lines up properly with Yahuwah. But let's say this, or let me share this with my brothers and sisters. The son of Ahab, who became king, he took upon the same position, or at least some of the same traditions that his father did. He wasn't as wicked, but he was still dabbling in it. It's like the Hebrew Israelites. They're Christians, but they're not Christians. Or they're not Christians, but they teach Christian doctrine. But of course, they get into colorism. But they say they're not Christians. Some of the other teachers, the Maya flutes and the rest of them out there, they teach it, okay, I'll stop. But they'll say, no, that's not who we serve. But if you were to match up what they do versus what the Christians do, except for colorism, it will be hard to tell. But there's one fine point that separates Israel from those individuals. When we came out, we came all the way out. We understand that our Abayas is a jealous Elohim. Now he says that to us in the book of Exodus, one of many examples, but if you go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 5, you'll hear him clearly say, not only is he a jealous Elohim, but if you're worshiping or praying to or believing in any kind of way, any other entity, so-called Son of God, Mother of God, God himself, God manifestation in the flesh, he said, those who do that hate me. That's what he says again. They hate Abba Yah. Although they'll tell you, no, I love him, but I got to go through the cleansing process. I got the blood of the lamb. I got to eat his body and drink his blood because he shared it for me and for my sins. Cannibalism. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in this lesson. And what I'm doing, brothers, is I want to show you what I'm doing is comparing and contrast. In other words, I want to make it clear. I want to show you some equity in what you see going on. Nothing new under the sun. We were warned by, Solomon in Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. And I hope you have, again, we talk about hammer and saw. Take note. Anyone who's teaching you anything about Abba Yah, if they're not teaching you and encouraging you to follow up and research behind what they said, then be careful because you might be listening to a devil. Well, I'm sorry, a sheep, a wolf in sheep's clothing. Because in our book, there's nothing to hide. And every man of Elohim is a witness for Elohim, for Israel. And we were told that every word be established by what? 2 or 3 witnesses. We were told line upon line, precept on precept. In other words, cross-referencing. Come on, you're smart. When you were in school, they taught you got to cross-reference things to get an understanding so you know that you know that you know. So in order for that to always be, the primary study tool for us, at least in this study group, it is part of the requirements to have, again, your hammer and your saw so we can build together to better understand what the house of Israel, including Yashar'el, including Yehuda, should look like. Now, for the sake of teaching this lesson effectively, as I'm still, working on getting rid of some of the king's language, not going to get rid of all of it. Plus, we don't know Abba Yah's, language. There's a unified language where you could talk to animals and everything else, and we lost that probably during the time of Babel, the building of the Tower of Babel. We probably lost it then. So, but at the same time, that does not mean that we commit, abomination by calling Abba Yah Yahuwah out of his name, because that is a sacred name. And I've said many times, you can say Yolanda, yellow, yay, yes. You can say yes to Yahuwah. In other words, you ought to be able to say Yahuwah. But anyway, this son of Ahab cleaned up a lot, but he didn't clean up all of it. Just like I said, those camps are doing, and some of these content creators. They come out only to the degree where they're comfortable, instead of coming all the way out. And because they did not come all the way out, that curse lingered on a little bit longer than it had to be. What was the curse? Idol worship. Jezebel, Ahab, had the people worshiping Baal, the Baphomet. But again, you can call it Jesus, you can call it Buddha, you can call it Krishna, you can call it Amon-Ra, you can call it Samaria, you can call it Tammuz, you can call it Apollo. And many, 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 many more. All of it is Baal worship by another name. And that's what our people were guilty of. So Abba Yah judged the people with no rain for 3.5 years. So that's the backstory. And again, once Elijah destroyed all of Jezebel's kings, there was prophets. There was still some other intermixing with the heathens. Again, dealing with the Moabites or the king of Moab. And because, again, this new king did not understand when Abba Yah says come out, come all the way out, then the suffering lingered on for our people. And again, we'll get into that study in just a moment. That's going to be 2 Kings chapter 6. But for back reference, right, you can start reading at 2 Kings chapter 3. And if you want to go farther, you can go all the way to 2 Kings chapter 1. Because you're going to find out at some point, this is where Elijah goes to the woman, who has just enough provision for her and her son. And he comes up to her and say, hey, give me what you have. And because she had a voice for Abayas, and Abayas had told her he would send a prophet to her. And when that prophet came up on the scene, she said, well, let me give to him what he's asking of me, because I know Abayas told me he was coming. Yahuwah told me he was coming. And he also told the king too. That's what he was the prophet, Elijah. Hey, go find the widow with the child that has just enough left and tell her to give it to you. And then I'm going to bless you through her and her through you. And you can read that again, 2 Kings, starting at chapter 1. And you can read up to it. And to the time that the drought ended, that mother was blessed. Even to the point where her child had died. And because of her obedience, when she needed Elohim the most, Yahuwah the most, guess what? Abayas sent Elijah, or she sent for Elijah. And Elijah came right on back. He prayed before Abayas, as every watchman would do, before he started answering questions randomly. And then when Abayas told him, go back. Yes, you have the strength of healing in you to bring back life to her son. And that part happened as well. And as I think about that, I think about a couple of things. For my brothers and sisters who were praying for Brother Sharif, we all got together on the Bible study. We prayed that our brother would have a successful surgery for the removing of some cancer in his body. Well, I want to report back to you, my brothers and sisters, by the evening of that same day, we heard from the brother's, family, and he is well. It was a very successful surgery. And I smile about it because I'm happy for my brother, but I'm also happy that Abayas hears the prayers of the righteous. I didn't say the perfect, the righteous. And see, when your heart is righteous before Abayas, he will hear your prayers, brothers and sisters. But that's because we're not polluted with idolatry. We're not polluted, in false beliefs. We're not polluted, in practicing paganism. And those voices Abayas will hear. But more importantly, he will show himself strong on behalf of those voices. So all of my brothers and sisters who are part of praying for our brother Sharif, what do I want to say to you, brothers and sisters? Job well done. Hallelujah. Exciting. That's exciting news. And there are other challenges that I know many, were praying for as a part of that study. I don't want to digress here, but I want to bring that out. There were some other things that we were all praying about. Some of us had taken, some losses. Some of us had lost loved ones. And yet, we went forward with the study. And, Abayas does what Abayas does. He restores, or he'll elevate, or he'll bring about a certain calmness to reassure you, again, that no weapon formed against us will prosper, and that he hears the prayers. You keep his Torah, he hears your prayers. Again, you keep his Torah, he hears your prayers. And he will get back to you on those prayers. If you're walking in integrity, keeping the Torah, he will hear your prayers, because that's what Solomon shared with us, correct? 7:14, 2 Chronicles. Yah people who are called by Yahuwah's name will humble themselves and pray. And what? And turn from their wickedness. Then he would hear them from heaven. And what he would do? He would forgive their sins and heal their land. In other words, he will address your concerns. Not only address it, he's going to fix it. And so for all of those, who were a part of being able to pray for our brother, and you had special prayers of your own, Abayas heard you, and just like he allowed our brother Sharif to have a successful surgery, everything you ask for in time, it will come back. And I don't mean in time like an extended time. See, I'm not talking sorcery and witchcraft. No, what I'm simply stating here is that in season, there's a season for all things. In that proper season, you will see the power and the might of Abayas' promise that he would keep his part as long as we're doing our part. And that's what we're doing, with, DFG End Time, Messenger, Tanakh, Torah, Bible study. That's what we're doing. We're doing our best to teach one another, to learn more about our Abayas so that we can properly submit ourselves, obey, so we can see his power, his strength, his redemption. Because we don't have another redeemer. We have no other redeemer but Yahuwah. That's all we have, at least our group. But we're not the only group. But for our group, we believe the word of Abayas. When he says that he's sovereign, that you should have no other Elohim at all, that's Exodus 22:5 and many other places. He's a jealous El again. But we go over to Isaiah 43, he tells us again, Israel is mine. I am Yashar'el's redeemer. I am your savior. And it's just amazing to me how these Christians, non-Christians, fight against the truth that's right there in their face. Because you know why? I don't know why. I don't know why. I understand when we were in ignorance, I understand why we were doing it. But with the increase of information, the increase of knowledge where you can go back and you can research this, it's amazing to me how they'll go find little crafty verses, to try to deny Yahuwah as their redeemer, or to justify that he isn't, that some other entity, other Elohim is. But if we ain't an Elohim or anyone that could speak to Abayas to forgive you of anything in terms of sins and wickedness who you are praying to, that you're speaking his name right along with Yahuwah's name, that is a Elohim. If you got to go to a temple, you got to go to a mosque, you got to go to a synagogue or a church to find him, that's your Elohim. If that's where you got to go in to find Yahuwah, then whoever that led you in there and whoever keeps you in there, that's your Elohim. And even if you've come out, if you're still teaching what they teach within, there's still no separation. A little leaven levels the whole lump. Isn't that what they say over there? Didn't they say the small foxes spoil the vine? Isn't that what they said over there? So if he's a jealous Elohim, that means he wants no competition. None. He needs, and it's pretty obvious. Why would an Elohim who never changes, brothers and sisters, need someone to help him do his job? I mean, some have gone as far as to say, well, men were so weak and men were so wicked that he had to help them. Yet men are still as wicked, if not worse. In the churches, synagogues, wherever they are. And when you bring that up, then they come with another scripture, typically from the New Testament, or they try to conflate something in our Tanakh. Conflate it. It's like playing the game of spades. If you play spades, you know what I'm talking about. You got a little joker. That little joker is a very valuable card. And you'll hold on to that particular card as long as you can. But you do know there's one more card out there. They call the big joker. And you got to see how to get that card out of there so you can win with the lesser guard or the lesser card. And that's the equivalency of what they're doing. They're playing the little joker, forgetting about there's the big joker. In other words, they're serving the lesser Elohim or the son of Elohim in place of Elohim. And they think somehow or another that's going to cause that card to win. It's not going to win for them. Again, if he's sovereign, if he's jealous, He makes it crystal clear. He's the only one. Then why would you look for another one? I think that's a reasonable question that they should ask themselves. But they won't. Or they'll come up with some clever little way of telling you, you don't understand, brother. Okay. Well, somebody's right and somebody's wrong. And I'm sticking to the Tanakh, not some book that came on the scene 2,000 years ago. Even the fake Jews don't believe that book. Even the fake Jews tell you that wasn't the Messiah. And they do a good job of imitating Israel. Even they'll tell you, hey, man, that's not true. But there our people is because of religion. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Okay. Keep on sending them your money over there, all right? You believe in something they don't believe in because you say, who bless Israel? Abayas will bless. And you got Israel who say, yeah, keep on sending them your money, but we don't believe in your Jesus or your Yahushua. He's not real. And if you come in our country with that foolishness, you're going to jail. But enough of that. Praise Yahuwah. Let's come on back to a couple of other things before we get to the review. You know, I want to warn our brothers and sisters, especially pretty much all over the earth, flat earth. You know, there's an economic crisis that's coming, and I know if you're in you know Africa or some of these other countries, South America, and your country is a part of BRICS, you're thinking to yourself, well, we're on the right side. Finally, you know, we're going to have our day in court. We're going to have our revenge. Let me say something to you, brothers and sisters, wherever you are, because you know Israel, we're everywhere. Yashar'el, we're everywhere. If you think for 1 second that the most powerful demons on this earth, heathen devils, are going to just sit there and sit down and lose their power without a fight, you have to reconsider this. I want you to think about who's the number one with all of the weapons of mass destruction. What country is that? That has more than any other country. I want you to think about that. Talking about for you BRICS and BRICS affiliated countries. If you were the baddest boy or baddest woman or baddest man, baddest woman on the block, would you let somebody just come up there and just take your block without a fight? Because they want it and they're angry at you? Well, I'm sorry y'all mad at me now, and I guess it's your turn to rule. Do you really believe that's the way that would go down? No, you know better. As those saying, there will be blood in the streets. And according to our book, there's going to be blood, how you say, chest deep, waist deep in the streets. So if you're over there taking some kind of comfort, like, yeah, we got it, and those over there in you know, North America, the West, you know, yeah, okay. I'm not saying Babylon is not going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed. But trust me, brothers and sisters, you know, as that old saying, when America gets a cold, the rest of the nations of the world get pneumonia. So if wherever you are, be prepared. And again, no matter how this thing ends, there will be no winners because we're at the end. Of course, they're going to make you think it's all good, or we're going to go to, you know, to digital currency. You know, we're going to go, you know, we got artificial intelligence, and all these things are just the future. It's a shift. Well, let me say something to you, brothers and sisters. For the powers that be to control this earth, they have to have everyone on this flat earth looking to them for their resources. You know, there's an old saying out there that you'll have nothing and be happy about it. And what they simply mean is that not that you glee and happy. No, what they're simply saying is that because of artificial intelligence, digital currency. You're going to do what they say or suffer the consequences. In other words, they're going to make themselves gods. Well, brother, that's not here. Brothers and sisters, that's here already. It's like a wedding. The groom is ready, the bridesmaids are ready, and all they're waiting is for the song to start playing so they can march down the aisle. Right now, they're just waiting for the song. Everything is in place. And if you're sitting there content, complacent, distracted, then yes, you will have nothing, and you will be happy about it because you're going to be miserable like they were here. And Israel and Judah, or Yashar'el and Yehuda, suffering miserably. And anything they could get their hands on for food, for drink, they were doing it. So I want to remind my brothers and sisters again, be prepared. And the first order of preparation, brothers and sisters, is going before Abayas, learning from his Tanakh, the behaviors of men, so you can understand what they're going to do again, because this is the map book. You follow? If you were a general taking your soldiers to war, then you would have a map of the terrain where you're going to be fighting, where the battles will happen, where the enemy entrenched, where the enemy strongholds. That's what the Tanakh does for us. It shows and reveals that to us. Where our soldiers need to move, where we need to camp out at, where are the safe zones, where are the hot spots. So we can strategically place ourselves, our soldiers, our warriors, the things that are important to us to win. And that's what our Tanakh presents for us. You're not going to find that over in the New Testament. All you're going to find over there is a bunch of, when Paul went to Ephesus or in Antioch or wherever they were, his journey is not saving anybody. Your salvation lies in understanding who is the true Elohim if you're Yashar'el and Yehuda. And if you don't know that, then you don't know who you are. And because you don't know who you are, you don't know who he is. Abayas, even though you think you do. Because if you knew who he was, then I wouldn't have to sit here, or we wouldn't have to convince you that he's a jealous Elohim. He said there should be no Elohim but him, none before him, none after him, ever, anywhere. And Israel, Yashar'el, belongs to him exclusively. And that if we were to turn to any other religions, any of them, we would be in an abomination state. We would be in a critical state of mind or a dependent state of mind, and a judgment of Abayas would befall us, as it has and continues, and is going to get much worse. The last thing I'll say in regards, to this is that, I was listening the other day and they were talking about the budget, the deficit, and how deep, in debt this country is, and how they need to look at raising the debt ceiling, which they will, because they print money, because pretty soon it's not going to be worth anything anyway. But if you have, you need to be investing in it, using it, for resources, and then sharing it with those who also use that can use help in, gathering resources. Making sure that they're sustained so we can sustain each other when the time comes. Well, the time is here, but when the music starts to play, if I could say it that way, we're ready to do what we have to do. Because the warnings are already here. But they said in that statement that, The biggest problem with the deficit is not the military expenses. It's all of what they would say the subsidizing, the different welfare programs, Medicaid, Medicare, EBT, SNAP, retirements, those type of things. And that's where they need to look at cutting those programs out. Brothers and sisters, you know what happens if they cut those programs out? You're going to have mass starvation, homelessness, unbelievable out in these streets. But then again, you don't think they anticipated that? What do you think Jad Helm was all about? If you don't know what Jad Helm is, go look it up. Do your research. Don't be lazy. Jad Helm. Just like it sounds, Jad Helm. Spell it close to right, Google, or figure it out and tell you what that's. Military exercises in urban parts of the country. In addition to that, FEMA camps. I know many of you thought it was about the migrants. You notice they don't say migrants and FEMA camps. Those two things are no longer corresponding with each other. The whole thing about migrants and FEMA camps early on was just a testing of those camps to figure out how to properly secure them. That was simply a test run. Now the migrant situation is out of control and nobody says anything about FEMA camps. Those are the places they're going to lure our people into. That 2/3 that's going back on those slave ships as the cursed ones, as we were taught in the book of Deuteronomy. Chapter 28, verse 68, they will go again into slaves. They will return again unto ships. The people who in bondage will turn back to Egypt or go back again to Egypt. The 2/3, those who are cursed. Because everything from 28, 15, all the way down to 68, those are those who are cursed. 2/3 are going to be back on those ships. I would never get on those ships. If you starve and you're hungry enough, you'd be surprised what you might do. Processing centers, FEMA camps. That's an interesting comparison. Something you might want to take a second look at. They're well secured, well stocked, well guarded, and they got good behavior modification equipment inside of that. Let me say that again to you, brothers. So they are well equipped with behavior modification equipment inside of those camps. Behavior modification equipment. Some internal things they will be servicing, if you get it, and some external things that they will be implementing if you reject it. Just think the word guillotine. Over 80,000 purchased during the Obama administration. I wonder why. I wonder what they plan to do with those things. Oh, we all haven't forgotten about the coffins. But, okay. Extra large coffins that can hold up to 10, 12 bodies. See, they think that we got some of our people because we allowed them to make some adjustments. Make some adjustments. That's the only way I can say it. You ought to know what I'm talking about. They were incentivizing some of our people to allow them to make those adjustments within them. Donuts, lottery tickets, $100 bills. What could that mean for many? I don't know. Maybe it'll cause them not to resist going. And for those who didn't, before you start beating your chest, how long can you go without food? How long can you go without water? How long can you go without electricity? Hell, how long some of you go without your cell phone? So none of us are in any situation to be boastful and bragging. That's, again, why we should be coming together, focused, realigning ourselves up with the truth. You see all that noise out there, this pastor this and that pastor that, and this church this and this church that, and this camp this and this camp that. Brothers and sisters, I wouldn't be surprised if all of them are working for the government in some form or another. And I mean every last one of them. Whether they're 501c3 or not, would not surprise me at all. All of them probably got their hands in the cookie jar. They're all probably dirty in some kind of way. Because if they were not, they would come here and they would teach this truth as you have seen and you know that your brother does. See, when you're not tied or beholden to anyone, you can teach the truth. When your full trust and faith is in Yahuwah, then you know Yahuwah will provide for you. You just teach the truth. He'll get like-minded brothers and sisters, and they'll do everything in their power to make sure you can continue to move forward with that truth. You don't need the government. You don't need to be on the government's titty for anything. No disrespect, my dear sisters. Your breast is food, it's life. So that's a beautiful thing. But in a natural way, that's one thing. In a supernatural way, that's something totally different. When you're depending upon the government for your source and your means, then again, as I just stated earlier, as they're already saying, you'll have nothing and you'll be happy about it. But when you're putting your trust in Elohim because you know what his expectations are for you and for your family, for your loved ones, whole different mindset. It's clean. It's clean. When you can learn clean, you can teach clean with a renewed mind or a clear mind with all the pollution and idolatry and the sorcery and the witchcraft and all these other spells that they constantly casting as they have casted upon our ancestors and casting upon many of us to this very second. See, when all of that is out of the way and you can see clearly what pathway to take, then you open up that Torah and that Torah comes to life. You open up that Tanakh, the Tanakh comes to life. See, when we read and study, it's alive. It comes right off the pages because we're not compromised. But that said, now let's get into, 2 Kings, chapter 6. Praise Yahuwah. And this is exciting, brothers. At least to your brother, this is very exciting. Because it talks about some challenging times. And, I say exciting not because it's giddy and, and happiness. It's exciting times because it's easy to see what's happening today because of what happened back then. There's an old saying, those that forget the past are what? Doomed to repeat the past. But because we haven't forgotten the past, those of us who are in the Tanakh, those of us who are, studying the Tanakh, the ways of our ancestors, the ways of Abayas interaction with our ancestors. For us, it's exciting times because we know it's almost over. Now, we also realize it's going to be a lot of sad tears in the street. Yeah, there'll be blood waist high, but there'll probably be tears head high. Tears. Sadness. Because unfortunately, 2/3 of Israel, they're not getting in. They're going to be destroyed. And they are our brothers and sisters. So how could you be not sad about that? But the thing we have to remember, they're making their own choices, and rightly so. No one has a right to tell any of you what to do, except for Abayas. And even he will give you the grace to choose to do otherwise than his Torah, otherwise than his Tanakh. Yeah, you have the grace to do it. But it will cost you your soul in the process. What they said, the wages of sin is death. That's true. And death is not just being unalive here. It's about what's going to happen in Isaiah 66, 20, 24. Because that's where you're ultimately going to land, Israel in rebellion. Israel who serves another Elohim. That's where you're going to be, according to the book. I know they told you Jesus was preparing mansions for you. Okay, you're going to be in for the shock of your life. Got thousands of pages telling us that Abayas is where we're supposed to be. And our people over there listening to something that they wrote. Some New Testament replacement theology. And that's where they are over there teaching it. The majority of Israel over there. Which is really amazing. The minority are over teaching this. And even inside that 1/3 minority, there's another 1/3 of minority that's called the elect of Elohim, because they having nothing to do with it. They're not serving any other Elohim. That's us. Because we don't even go over there anymore to look for anything. Yeah, we know there's some truth mixed in over there. How do you think they sell the lie? Well, how could it be, wolves in sheep's clothing? You got to mix it up a little bit. That's how deception works. A little lie with truth. Or a lot of lie with a little truth. Doesn't matter, it's still a lie. So when you're pure, if you want to stay pure in your studying, you want to stay pure in your learning, then you have to learn to let that go. And somehow people just won't do it. They'll fight you to death. They will slander your name to the end before they let that go. And again, the bed they make is the bed they're going to sleep in. Isn't that what our parents used to tell us? You made your bed, sleep in it. Because that bed's going to be full of thorns and it's going to be hot. There's going to be a lot of uncomfortable people after judgment. And they're going to be miserable because they had a chance in these last days to know the truth, but they rejected the truth for organization's sake, for family's sake, for arrogance sake, high-minded sake, selfish sake. I don't need a God's sake or Elohim's sake. And that's why they're going to be tormented. The torment is going to come because they're going to realize they had a chance. I lost, a sister this week. Well, she wasn't like blood connected. We didn't have the same mother and father, but we had been knowing each other since we were kids. And for the most part, she was always a part of my family. All the time. She took care of my mom when mom was sick. Matter of fact, she was there when my mother passed. When my own siblings weren't there. Let's just keep it. I was away, so I couldn't be there. I was there in resources and things like that, but I wasn't there in body sometimes. But she was there with my mother all the time. And she passed away about 3 days ago. And that was a sad thing for me. But let me say something to my brothers and sisters about that. Is that I talked to her. She was hospitalized about a month ago. And we had a conversation, she and I. And you know what Abayas put in my mouth to tell my sister? He told me to tell her, he said, tell her that she's probably not going to make it this time. In other words, she wouldn't be coming out of there, going home again. That her time was up. Her journey here was up. And I was shocked that I said it because it wasn't my intention when I called her, or at least when I was notified she was back in the hospital and I called just to check up on her and see how she was doing. I had no intention to say that to her, but it came right out of my mouth. And I told her, I said, but I'm going to send you, some scripture. You follow? I'm going to send you some of these videos. I'm going to share some of the videos with you. I said, I want you to listen to them every day. Read them every day. I'm going to call and check on you. I said, because get ready. Get yourself together. That way, no matter what happens, you'll land on your feet. You might be laying on your back now, but you'll land on your feet then. And guess what, my brothers and sisters? Yah was right. She didn't come out. And if she did what your brother asked her to do, because I kept my part of it, I most certainly did. Then guess what? She is happy as a lark today. She probably got that big on her face. I say, yeah, thank you, DFG. Thank you, big brother. That's what the people who know me closely found, big brother. She probably over there celebrating, probably doing a happy dance. Not the wicked Perel foolishness, but she probably over there, all right. And if she didn't listen, she's probably sitting there saying, what a fool was I. And that's going to happen to a lot of our people. Some going to wake up. What did Daniel say? The everlasting, life. But others are going to wake up to what? Everlasting shame and contempt. Because Abayas harsh? No. Because of the harshness in their hearts. They didn't want the truth. They wanted their religion, and they wanted their religion exactly the way they wanted their religion. Yeah, they made some adjustments, just like this son of Ahab did. Ahab. He made some adjustments, but he didn't come all the way out. He was holding on to a little bit, so he extended the pain of his people. So anyone over there telling you it doesn't matter, or this is what they mean, it's still Yahuwah at the end of the day, it's just Jesus to you or Yahushua, they know what they're talking about. They're just wrong. They know what they're talking about. I mean, they of course we know where they're getting it from. They'll show you where they got it from. But they don't realize that is miseducation. That's not educated. They're being miseducated. There's a way that seems right to a man. Isn't that what wasn't that what Solomon said in Proverbs 14 and 12? Did not he say that to warn us? Say, brothers and sisters, there's going to be a way that's going to seem right to you. It's going to seem like that's the right thing to do. But it's the wrong way. And yes, it was Solomon who told us Yahuwah and Yahuwah alone. Because I know somebody out there, well, that's what we're trying to say to you, brother. No, it's the same Solomon said there's a way that seemeth right to a man. It's the same Solomon said, Yah's people, 2 Chronicles 14, who are called by Yah's name, will humble themselves and pray and seek Yahuwah's face. That's Solomon's. So don't you're not putting this on Solomon, and you're sure not pushing it not on us who are in the truth. You're clever, but you're not that clever. I know you think you are. Gotcha. At the end of the day, even he was warning us. And it was Solomon who said, Yah's not even going to hear our prayers if we violate or don't keep or listen and hear his Torah. He said nothing about Jesus or Yahushua or any of these other Elohims. He said nothing about any of that. And Moses said that the Torah would go on for all generations. There will be no end to the Torah, is what Moses said. Moshe. So who are you going to believe? Paul, James, Peter, John, Timothy, Philip. Who are you going to believe? Well, like Solomon said, you can believe who you want to believe. Not Solomon, Joshua said. Or Yahushua, because that's what the word Joshua is, Yahushua. What he said, y'all can do whatever you want to do. But as far as me and my house, we serving Abayah. Go back and read Yahushua or Joshua chapter 1. See what Yahuwah said to Joshua. Yahuwah said to Yahushua, Joshua. What he told him. He said, Yahuwah, the Torah, Yahuwah, be of good courage, the Torah, Yahuwah. But what happened when Satan got the ear, came in, what he did, he polluted the truth. He changed the truth into a lie. And our people drank the Kool-Aid, fortunately. If you don't know what that means, just look up Guyana tragedy, Jim Jones, and you'll understand what drinking the Kool-Aid is all about. It's not a good story. But yet it's Israel's story. That the Kool-Aid story is Israel's story, because it was Israelites, majority of them, who were over there in Guyana, South America, with that Jesus teaching guy. Pentecostal, by the way, tongue speaking, full of the Holy Ghost. Dope fiend, whoremonger, mass murderer. Christian. Can't leave that out. All right, brothers and sisters. Shall we begin? Y'all willing? This won't be too long. And the sons of the prophet said to Elijah, Behold now, the place where you dwell, this is 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 1. Behold now, the place where we dwell with you is too strait for us. Let us go, we pray you, until Jordan, and take hence every man a beam, and let us make us a place there where we may dwell. And he answered, y'all can go. And one said, be content, I pray you, and go with your servants. And he answered, I will go. And he went with them. And when they came to Jordan, they cut down wood. But as one was falling a beam, I'm certain that's a tree, the axe fell into the water, and he cried, and he said, alas, master, for it was borrowed. And the man of Elohim said, where fell it? And he showed him the place. And he cut down a stick, and he cast it into the water. And the iron did swim. And therefore he said, take it up to you. And he put out his hand, and he took it up. See, when a righteous man of Elohim is among us, brothers and sisters, all things are possible. And let me say this because, again, we talked about this in the study. You know, because of the wicked demons in Christianity and all the other affiliated groups, a lot of our people have learned not to trust Abayas, messengers. And I want to say to you, brothers and sisters, if that happen to be you, it's time to pull back a little bit and let that go. Yes, we were always told there will be wolves amongst the sheep. We were warned there will be wolves in sheep's clothing. But it did not mean to turn your back on Abayas messengers. You see, when we go before Abayas to pray, and Abayas hears our prayers, 9 times out of 10, you know how you're going to get your answers, brothers and sisters? From a witness or a prophet or a watchman of Elohim. Go back and look. When you see Elijah talking to the people, Elijah talking to the people, Jeremiah talking to the people, David talking to the people, Samuel talking to the people, go back and look. They're coming to the people, telling the people, thus says Yahuwah. This is what he said. This is what he wants you to know. This is response to your prayer. He heard your prayers. But he had to, tunnel it in, pull it in. Cause a straight line because there's so many and so many scattered, as far as voices. He said, I'm gonna hear your prayers. But I'm also going to put before you a man after my own heart. Did he not tell that to Samuel when Abayas took the kingship from Saul? He said, I'm going to find me a man after my own heart. And that's who I'm going to work through for Israel. So don't let anybody get you all, worked up, or don't you get yourself all worked up because Abayas has said, hey, go to a messenger, go to the elder, but go to elders who are chosen by me, who are going to teach my words, those who are going to speak and represent my Torah, my Tanakh, my Apocryphal books. Them you listen to, them you hear. And you say, well, how do I know they're not misleading me? What did you pray for? What did you go to before Abayas for? What is the Torah saying? What are the things that are expected of you? If these men come back and they give you something different, then they're not Abayas messengers. It's easy. He said if they come back with a different message, what he said, they are lying prophets. Don't believe them. He said if that prophet said tomorrow morning there shall be rain and there is no rain, he is not a prophet of Abayas. So there's no way for you, there's nothing to be at risk by you trusting, brothers and sisters, what I'm saying. Just validate. How you say trust, but verify. If we prayed for Brother Sharif the other night, Brother Sharif is in recovery. That's an indicator right there. Do you see the works? If Abayas sent that message with the word, you can one thing be assured of, brothers and sisters, it's going to happen. We give you when Daniel prayed. Go back and read Daniel chapter 10. Who came down to talk to Daniel? Was it Yahuwah? Or was it Michael? Was it Gabriel? Now, I'm not going to answer that question. You research for yourself. When he told the people it was time to come out of the first Exodus, Did Yahuwah go down there and tell each one of them? Or did he send Moshe? I mean, we can keep on going with this. We can go on and on and on with this. The truth is the truth. No changing that. Change your heart. Stop trying to change Yahuwah. His way is the perfect way. His way is the straight way. We just saw that. The straight way. The aligned way. He's not the author of confusion. He knows what he's doing. He knows better than we know. It doesn't matter how we think or what we prefer. It's not about our preference. It's about his truth. That's what I'm saying. So don't let anybody deceive you by saying, I don't listen, to no man. But then you're probably never going to hear from Yahuwah if that's your attitude. You'll hear voices. I'm not saying you won't hear voices, and you may think it's Yahuwah. But we're not warned there will be wolves in sheep's clothing, that Satan also can manifest itself. The demons can manifest themselves and present themselves to you in a way that's favorable to you, but they did not come from Yahuwah. These are evil times we're in, brothers and sisters. This is not time to be guessing. We have to be assured. And the only surety we have is Yah's truth. And where's his truth? And his Tanakh, his Torah, attached or supported by his apocryphal books. Now that was a statement of integrity, if there ever was one. It's the only pure statement. His truth is in his Torah, his truth is in his Tanakh, and it's supported with the apocryphal books. His truth is not in anything that men say they were inspired to do of themselves. Letters that they were writing, correspondence. Because that's what most of your so-called New Testament is. Paul writing letters. Others writing letters in the name of Paul. Others just writing letters and claim it was Paul, but it wasn't Paul. It's all there for if you want to research it. Not conflating it. It is what it is. And that's what they want you to believe over the Tanakh and the Torah. Or they want to use both. Nah, you can't mix clean with unclean. You can't mix holy with unholy. It's not going to work out for you. That's called abomination. I don't want to take away from this beautiful miracle that we just heard. And it was the man of Elohim who did that. Elijah. And if you read the story of Elijah, just so we start getting into this perfection and non-perfection, go read Elijah chapter 1 and see what happened once Elijah picked up that mantle from Elijah and these little kids were out there talking smack, running their mouth, being disrespectful. It's like so many of our young people are today, think they can say whatever they want to say because they have been encouraged to, be themselves. No, not to honor anymore. Just, you're self-sufficient and they're not. But, you can choose whatever you want to choose and you have a right to choose it because you're human too. But totally inequipped to even buy a pair of socks. But that's another story. You'll find out when those kids disrespected Elijah. He sent some bears after him. And bears eat flesh. You figure out the rest. I mean that respectfully. Praise Yahuwah. I don't play. You know what I'm saying? You disrespect Abayas Messengers, be prepared. I'm talking about his true messengers. Not the fake ones. Not the wolves in sheep's clothing. The ones who teach lies mixed with truth or flat out lies. Verse 8. And then Aram warred against Israel and took counsel with his servants, saying, and such a place shall be my camp. And the man of Elohim sent unto the king of Israel, saying, beware that you pass not such a place, for there the Amorites are come down. So he's telling them they're setting a trap for you. Who's telling the king of Israel this? Is it Yahuwah or is the man of Yahuwah? And if he never changes, then why would you think he has changed? Why would Abayah all of a sudden change now? He says, I am Abayah Yahuwah, I change not. So if he was doing it then, why would he not still be doing it now? And this is why I'm emphasizing that. To tell you, don't let the heathen, wicked demons and your bad experiences turn you away from Abayah's true messengers. You pray, he brings answers to your prayers. They bring his word back to you. They don't replace him. They just come to you and say, thus says Abayah. You asked about this. Will the child live? Yes, the child will live. Will the child die? No, David, the child will die. But I'm going to give you another child. And he will be your inherited king, Solomon. Who brought the word to David when Abayah had caught him in his transgression? It was Nathan. It wasn't Yahuwah. It was Nathan who came because Yahuwah said, go tell David. Who made David king? It was Yahuwah, but Yahuwah could have just woke up David in the middle of the night. No, he sent Samuel to Jesse to find him. There's order in Abayah's among Israel. He's not the author of confusion, is what I'm saying to you, my brothers and sisters. I know enough. Yeah, enough. But I just thought it was important to bring it home because a lot of our people, you will be seeing a lot better results in your life if you were not carrying the baggage of hurt and pain from false teachers of the past. Let it go. Don't you let go, you let that go. And then come on over here and join with us as we study the right way, at least the best way that we can, and the best way that we can is going to Abayas Tanakh, his Torah, and his Apocryphal books. And I'm going to keep saying it. Because if there's any other thing out there that to be learned, I'm not interested in learning. I'm a historian. Pretty well studied man. But nothing supplants Abayah's truth for me. Nothing. This was my calling from a child. To lead us, our people, to love our people uncompromisingly. Not in my perfection, but in my compassion. Abayah saw this day long before I saw it. But we here now. And it's all it is again, my brothers. It's a representation that Abayah still loves Israel. Unfortunately, Israel, 2/3, are not loving him back. They'd rather be idolaters. But I am a witness that he loves us. Many of you are as well. Let us continue on. Verse 9. And the man of Elohim sent unto the king of Israel, saying, Yashar'el, saying, Behold, beware that you pass not, I know we read that, such a place, for there the Amorites, or Amorites, have come down. And then the king of Yashar'el sent unto the place which the man of Elohim told him and warned him of, and saved himself there not once, nor twice. No, he say saved himself many times. Why? Because he listened to the man of Elohim. And the man of Elohim told him the truth. He didn't create some situation for manipulation. He told him the truth. That's why it's necessary. Where is it in the book of Amos 8:3? Let's go there real quick, brothers and sisters. Amos 8:3. This is for some time out. I'll go right over here to it so I can take you right to the page, my brothers and sisters. Close. I'm sorry. We go back. That's going to be Amos, the book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 7. Verse 3 says, how can two walk together except they agree? That's 8 and 3. Which is true. How can you be clean and unclean at the same time? How can you be practicing Christianity doctrine and not be a Christian? How can you be praying to Yahushua, and that's who the Christians pray to, and say you're not praying to the same God they're praying to? They're praying to an idol, but you're not. He said, how can two believe the same way and be in disagreement? No. It's deception to think that somehow or another, one is different from the other. They both have the same backstory. Check them out. They'll tell you. Geno Jennings' backstory is the same backstory Charles Dow backstory, which is the same one T.D. Jakes' backstory is. Same one Bishop Nathaniel backstory is. All have the same backstory. Go listen. Go ask them. They know it. They teach from the same New Testament that those guys teach from. How could it be a different story? But that's a story for another day. That's not today's message. But since it's Amos 8 and 3, and I did say that, I'm sure Abayas wanted me to share what I just shared with you, brothers and sisters. And there are a few of many. But the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7, it says, surely Yahuwah will do nothing, but he reveals the secret unto his servants, the prophets. See, line upon line, precept on precept. Again, let me read it. It says, surely Yahuwah will do nothing, but first he reveals the secret to his servants, the prophets. And you see over here, he revealed to the king of Israel what the Amorite king, the king of Armenia, probably the right way to say that. He revealed to the Israel king what that king was doing through who? His servant, the prophet. And I'm not bigging up prophet. I'm just telling you how Abayas works, brothers and sisters. It's important to understand that. And you turn away from that, you don't know who you're hearing. And if you're listening to that prophet and that prophet tells you something and it didn't happen, then now you know, get away from him. He's a lying prophet. If he tell you Abayas said something or Yahuwah said something and it does not come to pass, what the book say? He's a lying prophet. And if we had time, I'd take you up in Deuteronomy and share that with you, but we won't ever get off this study if I do that. But the study is a continual study anyway, but I think you understand what I mean by what I said. Shall we continue? Praise Yahuwah. All praises to Yahuwah, brothers and sisters. All love from your brother to you. Verse 11. Therefore the heart of the king of Ammon was so troubled for this thing. And he called his servants, and he said unto them, will you not show me which one of you is for the king of Israel? Yashar'el. He's saying, which one of y'all is a traitor? And he's like, huh? He said, which one of you, there's a traitor amongst us? And the men are looking at him like, no, there isn't. He said, oh, there has to be. He's saying, because how would that king have known where we were going to be? Not one time, not two times, but several times. Watch with these men, the heathen. Look what the heathen. Now Israel won't say this sometimes, but look what the heathen says. Check this out. And one of his servants said, no, my lord, O king, but Elijah, the prophet that is in Israel, tells the king of Yashar'el the words which you speak in your bedchamber. He says, it's being revealed to the prophet, the secrets. Amos 8 and 7. That's how Israel knows. There's a prophet. There's a man of Yah that's telling these things to them, to protect them, to warn them, to keep them afloat. Let's continue. And he said, go and spy where he is, that I may send and fetch him. And it was told him, saying, behold, he is in Dothan. Well, now the heathen king want to find Elijah. Now they're after. Too much is given, much is required. And I say this to a lot of my brothers out there, sisters, if Abayas using you in some kind of way. There's going to be a target on your back. There's going to be a price to pay. And if you don't want to be a target, you don't want to pay a price, then you might want to, well, you probably don't have a choice if you're Abayas. But for those who thinking about it, you might want to consider, you got those Abayah have called and you got those who call themselves. You are calling yourself, you may want to think about this a little bit. Because it does come with a price. And that price could be your life. Just telling you. And some of these so-called prophetess and all of them, you follow me, they so busy putting on their little pretty hats and lip gloss and scarves. Getting so well, they ain't halfway going to be inconvenienced. You really think they're willing to die for this truth? They'll say that with their mouth, but you can look around and see, they're not ready for the battle. Plus, he didn't tell them that was their call, charge anyway. If he needed them for something, he would have used them for something and said, now go on back. I'm done with you, Deborah. Thank you. Go on back, Esther. Appreciate it. Great job, but I'm done with you. Thank you, Judith. You did a great job. Now go ahead on back. Now we got it. Give it back to the men. Did a good job. Very good job. Now we got this. Thank you, Abigail, for bringing the provision. Now you can go on back. And some of us, some sisters out there, I got it. Okay. That's okay. Is that what you believe? Again, who am I to tell you what to believe and not what to believe? But just be assured of your calling, because understand, in war, they don't look at a woman and say, well, she's a female, so let us spare her. That's not the way that works. Whatever the men get, just kind of say, I'm probably going to get double that. Talking about in torment and torture. Double. And you should know why I said double. Because you have something uniquely special about you that I can assure you they're going to recall if they capture you. That we, for the most part, don't have to offer. Now that should be enough. Let's go on here. Verse 13. Verse 14. Therefore sent he horses and chariots and a great host, and they came by night, and they compassed the city about. And see, that's the enemy of man right there. Comes in the dark. What did David say? The words were smooth as butter. But what he said, they had a sword in their hands. Their words were silky like oil, but they had murder in their hearts. That's what he means by the darkness, the night. Because the enemy does not want to be revealed. He's always going to come, when you're at your weakest point, when you're most vulnerable. And that's why you need to stay prayed up. That's why you need to be with like-minded believers. That's why you need to study to be strong, so when that time does come, you could take that punch without falling down and getting counted out. It's a tough week for many of us. You heard me talk about it this past week. But you know what? Even with the Bible study, I wouldn't have it for that. You get the news, a loved one has perished. What do? Do you cancel the study? Do you ask somebody to sit in on your behalf? Or do you go forward? Verse 15. And when the servant of the man of Elohim was risen early and gone forth, behold, a host compassed the city both with horses and chariots. And the servant said unto him, Master, Master, what shall we do? Now this is Elijah, servant, who goes out, to probably get water, get things ready, for Elijah, for the day, to get their day started. I don't know, maybe go making his coffee or whatever. Just give you something to kind of compare it to. And he walks out and he's like, oh shit, we're in trouble now. See, that's how many of us feel when the enemy's got us trapped in. Bills, children going astray, agendas being pushed, economy crashing, threatened with homelessness, threatened, with all kinds of things, threatened with the losing your job because it's going to get replaced by artificial intelligence. So this is that man, he's looking like, oh man, trouble is all around me. Let's see how this goes. See what happens next. And when he comes back, to tell the master. See, that's, again, we all got people like that. They're bearers of bad news. They always got bad news. And they can't wait to come and tell you about how bad you are sometimes in their bad news. I heard a rumor about you, sister. Don't you just hate them when they, not hate them, but hate that? Maybe them too. I don't know. Don't know what relationship you have with them. And Elijah prayed and said, Yahuwah, I pray that you open his eyes. I'm sorry, verse 16, I skipped. I'm coming back. This is too good to miss. Let's go back to 15. Verse 15. 2 Kings 2:15. And when the servant of the man of Elohim was risen early, he got up early, and he was going forth, and behold, a host compassed the city both with horses and chariots. In other words, the king of Ammon had snuck in. The devil had came in night. The tares had been sown amongst the wheat. And the servant of the man of Elohim was risen early and gone forth. And behold, a host compassed the city, both with horses and chariots. And the servant said unto him, Alas, my master, what shall we do? And he answered him, his master, Elijah, Fear not, for they that be with us are more than they that be with them. And I'm sure this man is looking at it. What are you talking about? Those who be with us last, I take it just you and I. How you say that? But see, Elijah knew something that his servant did not know. Again, that's why you have teachers and that's why you have students. The teacher encouraged the students. There's an old saying, when the student is ready, a teacher will appear. So when you're ready to come into this truth, Abayas is going to send messengers to bring this truth to you. If any of you are out there listening to your brother right now, that's how it works. Because you're seeing what you're seeing. Your understanding is what you understand. But it doesn't mean that you all knowing. Because guess what? The teacher knew something a little bit more than the student knew. The master knew something a little bit more than the servant knew. But they were together. They were a unit. They were like-minded, but not equally informed. Their knowledge levels were different. And that's okay. And Elijah prayed and said to Yahuwah, I pray you open his eyes that he may see Yahuwah, that he may see. And Yahuwah opened his eyes and opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of chariots of fire round about Elijah. Look at that. Let me read that again, brothers. So this is too good. Verse 17. And Elijah prayed and said, Yahuwah, I pray you open his eyes. Is that not what we're doing, brothers and sisters? When we're telling our people to come out of these false religions, these pagan religions. They're not false, they're real, but they're pagan, they're idolatrous. It's going to lead them to destruction. Isn't that what we're trying to do? Aren't we praying to Abayas to give us the words, to give us a ministry, to help them open their eyes so that they can see the truth? Of course, that's what some of us are doing. But then there are others over there telling them, oh no, just keep believing like you believe and keep seeing what you're seeing. You know, hey, trust your own eyes. Trust yourself. Trust your own opinion. Go before Abayas, and whatever he tell you, listen to it. As though there's not many false voices out there that, for the most part, is going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. But if it's Abayas' voice, you're going to hear exactly what you need to know. And he doesn't care about how you're going to feel about it, by the way. Any of us. And he said, and then when he opened his eyes, he saw what was around Elijah? Chariots around the mountain. So Abayas had circled the army who had come in search of Elijah. And Abayas' army had chariots and horses, but theirs had fire. See, brothers and sisters, that's the life for the true believer. See, that's the protection we get from Abayas. Many of us don't realize there's a ring of fire, a fence of fire protecting you everywhere you go. That's the benefit of being in the truth. That's the benefit of knowing who Abayas is. That's the benefit of walking amongst those who are put in place as the leaders of Abayas' people, his sheep, his shepherds, the righteous shepherds. Many, many, many perks come for all of those like-minded. And I will say that to my brothers and sisters. A lot of you going with things, you feel like it's just going to get worse. It's not going to get worse. It'll only get worse if you're in paganism or you're in nothingism. I don't believe anything. I'm agnostic. That means you get no help. And if you do get some help, it's probably not who you think it is. And you'll know time because it'll be just enough to pull you deeper and deeper to whatever it is you're in. Because yes, the gods of this world has power. Limited, but yes, they do have power. They don't have all power. They're not almighty. And they don't serve Israel. They serve themselves and they serve their heathens, their seed, at the expense of Israel. Because you got what they need. You got what they want. Isn't that Bismarck key? You got what I need. Say you just a friend. All right. Y'all know I'm going to stick something in. Hallelujah. But there were rings of fire around Elijah and his servant. And when verse 18, and when he came down to him, Elijah prayed to Yahuwah and said, smite this people, I pray you, with blindness. And he smote them with blindness according to the word of Elijah. And you know, if you go over to Isaiah 54 and 17, where it says, no weapon formed against us will prosper. You want to go over there real quick? Okay. And I won't take you to, I'll give you some verses and I'll take you to a few. All right. Because if I take you everywhere, you know, this will be a couple of messages, 2 days. But I believe we can get this done under 2 hours. Y'all willing. If not, then time will tell. Hallelujah. But Isaiah 54:17, no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. And every tongue that rises up against you in judgment, you shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahuwah, and their righteousness is of me, says Yahuwah. See, we get our righteousness from Yahuwah. Who do y'all think y'all are? Israel. What makes you think you right? Because Abayas says we are. How do you know it's Abayas? Because we obey his Torah. We keep his Torah. We keep his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. We study throughout his Tanakh, and we don't believe in writings of other men. And no one can give us any other Elohim but Yahuwah when we wake up, when he opens up our eyes. Because yes, we were blind too, through religion. Another Savior. But just like Elijah prayed that Abayas would open up the eyes of his servant, we prayed and Abayas has used many of us to open up many of our other brothers and sisters' eyes. So that they can see what's really out there. Again, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Every tongue that rises up against us in judgment, Abayas shall condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of Yahuwah. You're serving Yahuwah? This is your inheritance. No weapon formed against you is going to prosper. I don't give a damn what it is. Give Yah time. Stay faithful. Stay prayerful. Obey his Torah everywhere where you can, and you will see his power. He said it's because your righteousness is of him. Our righteousness is of him, not of ourselves, because our self-righteousness is, what did we say? Let's go over a little bit. You know what you want to think? Look what this says about our self-righteousness. Look at Elijah chapter 64. Just turn chapter 64. Now, I hope I said Isaiah when I said Isaiah 54 and 17. That's Isaiah, not Elijah, Isaiah. Isaiah 64 and 6 says, look, but what are we are as an unclean thing, and all our righteousness is as filthy rags. And that's what Solomon says, a way that's going to seem right to some of us brothers and sisters, but it's not Yah's way. He said our righteousness of ourselves, not the righteousness of Yahuwah, but if you're doing this on your own, you're coming to your own conclusions. He said your righteousness is like a bloody tampon, because that's what a filthy rag is. In their time, that's what they meant when they say a filthy rag. I mean, it was unclean. It's starting to clear itself up for some of my brothers and sisters, I hope. You may think you're right. It's human. But it doesn't make you right. Righteousness comes of Yahuwah, not of you, not of man, not of religion. Let's come on back. We could also go to Psalms 91 and 7. Write that down. 1,000 will fall at your left side, 10,000 your right hand, but they what? Will not harm you. Psalms 91 and 7. Jeremiah 5 and 21. Write that down. Let's go over there, Rick. Let's see what Jeremiah 5 and 21 says. If I go to verse 20. Jeremiah 5 and 20. Declare this in the house of Jacob, or Yaakov, and publish it in Yehuda, or Judah, saying, hear this, O foolish people, without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears, but hear not. So you don't fear me? That's 22. He said, you don't fear me? Says Yahuwah. Well, you will not tremble at my presence? And that's what he said. Verse 23, verse 9 say what? But this people has a revolting and rebellious heart, and they are revolted and gone. Neither say they in their heart, let us fear Yahuwah Elohim, that gives us rain both in the former and the latter season. See, that's the arrogance that he was talking about over here in chapter 1, Isaiah chapter 1. The ox knows, let's go. Well, come on. When we say we study, brothers and sisters, that's what we do on Wednesday nights. And you're welcome to join us. We'd love to have you. Look what it says in the book of Isaiah, chapter 1, verse 3. The ox knows his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Yashar'el, us, that includes Yehuda or Judah, does not know, and my people will not consider. Not consider. A sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, full of evildoers, children that are corrupters, and they have forsaken Yahuwah, and they have gone and provoked the Holy One of Yashar'el unto anger, and they have gone away backwards. He says, instead of us progressing, getting closer to him, we're falling farther and farther back because of all the wickedness in the land and our refusal to turn back to the truth, which is in his Torah. I didn't say it, brothers and sisters. That's the word. Do with it what you may, because it applies whether you agree with it or not. Are you the ones who will not consider? Are you the ones who are in rebellion? That's a decision each and every one of us have to consider if we want to know the truth, if we want to be honest with ourselves. Forgetting the traditions of men, the religions of our forefathers, studying to show ourselves approved, if you want to use that. Our righteousness, brothers and sisters, think about it. If you're just going off of what you believe and you're not in the book, and you're using, like I said earlier in the message, you like playing the game of spades, you holding on to your little joke and not realizing that there's only 4 of y'all playing, it's the last play, and you're still thinking that little joker gonna get you that one book you need, if you understand the game, to win or not get what they call set. Not understanding that there's something greater at that table than what you have. It had its power, or it has its power, but not all power. And when everybody play the last card, if that guy that has that big joker is not on your team, if that's your opponent, you're going to lose. And if you're serving any other Elohim but Yahuwah, you are going to lose. And I'm going to drop down a little bit because now you're going to see where Elijah, Abayas blinded the warriors and he led them over to the king of Yashar'el. And the king of Yashar'el, of course, he wants to kill him, but he said, no, this is not your kill. No, no, this is not your kill. You can't reap what you haven't sown. Because that's some of our people. You don't want to do any work, but they want all the benefits. And Elijah said, no, if you don't put in the work, you don't get to eat. No food in the pot, no food out the pot. If you don't want to turn back to Yahuwah, then don't call on Yahuwah when your time of trouble comes. Isn't that not what Solomon said? Proverbs chapter 1. Did not Solomon say that? Okay, let's go over there right fast. You're here for a reason. If you follow this channel, we're going to study it out. We're going to study it out over here. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. Go to chapter 1. Let's go to verse 20. It says, wisdom cries out in the street and utters her voice, and she cries in the chief place of the concourse and in the openings of the gate. And in the city she utters her words, saying, how long will you simple ones? Which is another word for rebellious. How long will you simple ones will you love simplicity? Going the broad way, the easy way, the religious way. The way you used to going. And the scorners delight in scorning, speaking evil. What did Isaiah say? All those who speak evil, Abayas was going to condemn them, right? Did not just read that in Isaiah 54:17? No weapon formed against us will prosper, and every tongue that speaketh against us, Abayas would what? Condemn them? This is what he's talking about, the scorners. All of those over there on these other channels, platforms, wherever they are, talking all this crap against us, when we're simply in the book. It's amazing how much they despise us. We're in the book. Where are they? Because we won't believe in their gods, who we once believed in, because our eyes were closed, just as that servant's eyes were closed. But because Abayas has opened up our eyes, and they are still in the darkness, they have the audacity to speak evil about us. Never recognizing, but those brothers are in the book. They're in the Tanakh. They're in the Torah. They're in the Apocryphal books. And yes, we see mighty works happening amongst them. No, they won't identify that. Oh, no. Can you? Scorners. And fools hate knowledge. Verse 23. Turn you at my reproof. Abayas said, when you hear the truth, respond to the truth. And I will make known to you my words. Because I have called and you have refused. I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded. But you have set at naught my counsel and you ignored my counsel. What's counsel? That's his prophets, his messengers. He said you're ignoring his messengers, his true messengers. Because as I said earlier, some of our people have been so damaged and so hurt, I don't believe in no man, and I'm not going to help them. I ain't going to do anything like that. Okay. Well, then don't be blessed. It's on you. You own it. But don't blame Yah when you're not. Your game, your rules. That tied in just right with space, did it not? Like Brother Jonathan about that. Love my little brother. My brother got more rules to the game of space. Like, every time we play together, what you doing, dude? Okay, anyway, all right, I'm gonna get distracted. He said, but you have refused my counsel, and none of you my correction. He said, because you have done this, brothers and sisters, I also will laugh at your times of trouble. You see, because Elijah was doing his supposed to do in his time of trouble, what did Abayas do? He sent all a heavenly host and put a ring of fire around all of his enemies for that one man. Because why? He was obedient. He served Yahuwah. He prayed to Yahuwah and Yahuwah only. And in his time of calamity, Abayas was there. When he got trapped, Abayas said, nah, I'm going to remove this snare. I'm going to reverse it on them. They think they're going to trap you. They're trapping themselves. That's how Abayas treats our enemies. He said they're going to come in one way and they're going to run out 7 ways. He said, I will laugh at, verse 24, let's go back a little bit. Verse 24, I'm still in the book of Proverbs, Solomon speaking. Because I have called and you have refused, it's what we've been doing, what we're trying to do. Calling, crying out, spare not, Isaiah 58:1, that's what we're doing. Tell Israel, tell Yashar'el, tell Yehuda, their sins, their wickedness, turn back to Yah, that's what we're doing. He said, but as we're doing this, as we are instructed to do, God's messengers and his sheep, his congregation, as we're all trying to do, what did he say they're going to do? When we call out, he said they're going to what? He said, I used them to tell you guys the truth, but you refused. I stretched out my hand, but no man regarded it. And none of would hear my reproof or my correction because of rebellion, because of religion, or non-belief at all. He said, I will laugh at your day of trouble, and I will mock you, make fun of you when your fear comes. And when your fear comes as a desolation and destruction comes as a whirlwind, when your distress and anger comes upon you, then you will call on me. And guess what, brothers and sisters, he says. See, when there are times of trouble, unlike Elijah, Abayas says he's not going to respond. He's not going to answer. He's going to lead them to their heathen gods. And their heathen gods are going to make them go backwards. They're getting closer to the truth. They're going to fall farther and farther into the lies, into the pits of darkness, to destruction. That's what he said. Too late. There's such a time, it's just too late. You had your opportunities and you're rejecting it. Many of our people are hearing these messages, talking about Israel, 2/3, and they still don't want to hear it. They hear it, but they don't hear it. Then he said they got ears to hear, but don't hear. They see us for certain, but ignoring it. Because we don't agree with the false religion that they're a part of. By any other name they want to call it. 28 again, they shall call upon me, but I will not answer. They will seek me early, but they will not find me. But you see, when Elijah's servant got up early, he was able to find Elijah. When Elijah's servant got up early that morning, his master was able to call on Yahuwah. But he's saying here, because of the hardness of the heart of many of our people, he said, when you get up early, as that servant did, when you call out, not going to answer you. Because of your rebellion, because you want to do it your own righteous way. And he already told you what that looked like before, but yeah, might look good and sweet and, engaging to you. Big mega church, I don't know, 30,000 subscribers, whatever you got, 100,000, 300,000, all it might look good to you. But that don't make it look good to Yahuwah. That's men voting for you. You better be having Yahuwah vote for you. Are those subscribers listening to you, or they just enjoy you? Are they finding Yahuwah through you, or are they just finding pleasure through you? Many of you, the big platforms, you need to repent yourself and turn back and come over here where we are. We're small, but at least we're in the truth. Or this are going to apply to you. In your time of calamity, your time of destruction, he's not going to be there for you. Let's go back over to 2 Kings. Verse 24. Verse 23. And he prepared a great provision. No, verse 24. 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 24. And it came to pass that after this, that Ben-Hadad, the king of Aram, gathered all of his host. And he went up and he besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria. And behold, they besieged it. Besieging means surrounded. Surrounded, had it surrounded. No one could get in, no one can get out. They're under siege. Our people were under siege. Again, because of this new king who was still holding on to some old things that he should have let go. Elijah had destroyed all of those prophets of Baal and had pretty much got the people more or less set up. But this man was almost out, but he was still all the way in. See what Abayas is either all the way out or you're all the way in. It's clean or it's unclean. It's just or it's unjust. It's holy or it's not holy at all. No almost. No in the middle. No purgatory. No lukewarm. That's what's required of us, brothers and sisters. All the way in or you're not in at all. What they're teaching out here in these camps and these religions, I'm telling you, they're letting you get close enough to smell redemption, but they're holding you back from getting the rewards, the ultimate rewards, eternal life. They're not getting it, and they don't want you to have it either. And what they got it from the heathens, the fallen ones. That's why the fallen ones practice the same religion they practice. Different, but the same. Two sides of the same coin. Heads and tails, still a nickel. Verse 25, and there was a great famine. Famine means no food. There was a great famine, and behold, they were besieged in it. They were trapped. And an ass's head sold for 80 pieces. To give you an idea of an ass, that's a donkey. A donkey's head cost $500. We did the math. In the day's currency, that would have cost them $500 just to have a head of a donkey to eat. That's how destitute they were. I'm sure there wasn't too many donkeys. I'm sure them donkeys were long ago eaten and slaughtered. But that was the price of one. And a 4-part of a cab of a dog's dung for 5 pieces of silver. That's about $50 for bird shit. Yeah, you heard me right. For a fifth of bird shit, it was $50. Dung, same word. Manure, feces, whatever you want to call it. Most countries of the world, they don't use all these little clever words. Poop and manure, bowel movement. No, they use it. Go over to the Asians and see how they say it. Oh, I got to go take a shit. So don't get in your feelings. It is what it is. That's this American way of always changing words to change the meaning. Call it what it is, because it stinks. And if it stinks, you need to know it stinks. The word poop don't sound like it stinks, but when you say S-H-I-T, it smells like it sounds like it smells. And that's how bad it was. Verse 26, and the king of Yashar'el was passing by upon the wall, Well, and there cried a woman unto him, saying, help me, my lord, O king. And he said, if Yahuwah does not help you, how can I help you? He's saying, hey, we all in this mess together. And that's what's going to happen to many of Israel in the days to come. And they think they're going to turn to the government for help, and the government going to say, I'm sorry, I can't do nothing for y'all. Just told you what they already planned early in this message. And many of our people still, I'm going to trust the government. You know, they got to. I pay taxes. I'm going to sit and they don't have to do anything. Matter of fact, how they were saying, the only two things they got to do is pay taxes. All you got to do is pay taxes and die. I just shared with you earlier. They look at this, and the reason the debt is so high, because they got too many people that the government is sponsoring or supporting, and they need to cut those services out, and they will. And the best way to do it is through extinction of people. Just letting them, you get ill, seriously ill, unless you're a part of the super rich, pretend to be helping you, but ultimately let you die. And that is not the worst thing that can happen to any of us, brothers and sisters. Spending eternity in damnation is the worst thing that can happen to you. Or any of us. And he said, what can I do for you? He said, I don't have no food. Verse 28. And the king says, what, by the way, what's the problem? Look what this woman said. And she answered. This woman said unto me, there was two of them up there. Give me your son that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. Yeah, you heard your brother right. And I want to say something. Go over to Deuteronomy chapter 28, 53, and we're going to come right back here. Because I want to give you something to cross. And there's many other places in the book. But go over to Deuteronomy 28 and go to verse 53. And this is in the, I'm reading, that was in the Tanakh. Let me take you over to the Torah. See what the Torah says. See if the Torah says anything about cannibalism. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verses 53. And you shall eat the fruit of your own body, the flesh of your sons and of your daughters, which Yahuwah has given you in the siege. And straightway your enemy shall distress you. Is that not exactly what came to pass for Israel? Well after the wilderness prophecy, if we turn our back on Yahuwah and serve these heathen gods. Here it is, right here saying that's what was going to happen. And right over here, 2 Kings, there it is, proof that Abayas' word is true. His judgment is his judgment, brothers and sisters. And he's not a man where he's going to go back on it. On his word. Numbers 23 and 19. Y'all know that already. Has he said it and he will not perform it? Numbers 23, 19. That's Torah. And you see it now live. And the king said, what ails you? And she answered, this woman gave to me, this woman said unto me, give me your son that we may eat him today. And we will eat my son tomorrow. So we boiled, like cooked, my son, and we did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, give me your son that we may eat him. But she has hid her son from me. And it came to pass when the king heard the words of the woman that he tore his clothes and he passed upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth and ashes upon his head. See, he's repenting. Finally, he gets it. And that's what's going to happen to most of our people. But what the psalmist says, it's going to be too late. He said, I've come to you, I've warned you, I told you, I've used my messengers to warn you, to tell you, my prophets to warn you, and you still won't listen. And now this is what's going to befall you. That's not what Solomon said in Proverbs 1. We read it already. We're going through this thing together, aren't we? I hope you wrote those things down. Mark them. I'm going to connect the dots for you. You just need to study the valor. Trust but verify. I'm not asking you to take my word for it. But trust me, I will give you the word about it. Because that's what Abayas told me to do, and I'm going to do it. That way, nobody's blood is on your brother's hand. I've done my part. What you do, it's up to you. Let me be clear to you again, brothers and sisters. What you do is totally up to you. If you want to keep on following these other people and stay out there where you are, you can do that. That's totally your right to do it. I don't have any, dog in that fight, a dog in that race. My responsibility is to tell you about what Abayas says about what you're doing. And I'm doing it. After that, your righteousness is your righteousness. But don't conflate it with Yah's righteousness. Because Yah's righteousness is keeping his Torah and serving only one Elohim. Your righteousness is believing what you want to believe, doing what you want to do. I get it. I was there where you are. If you're a Christian, I was there 30 years. Teaching. Eyes to see, I couldn't see either. But my heart was right, and Abayah led me. I'm sure somewhere someone was praying for your brother. Open his eyes, open his ears. And when Yah told me, open up your eyes and open up your ears, that's exactly what I did. And everyone who's like-minded, that's what you did. And for those who are going to escape the destruction to come, that's what they're going to do or have to do. If they want to inherit eternal life. Simple as that. Not my words. Go back, read Daniel chapter 12, verse 2. But read all of it. Don't just stop there. Come join us. If you need to learn more, you're welcome to the Bible study. Say it time and time again. You're welcome to join us. Why not? Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 45 minutes of study. 15 minutes of interaction. 20 minutes of interaction, dialogue, communication, encouragement, whatever, prayer. That's where you'll find us. Y'all willing. Then said Elohim, do so and so also. Then he said, this is what the king said. Then he said, Elohim, do so and so more also to me, if the head of Elijah, the son of Shaphat, shall not stand on him this day. See, now he's attacking the man of Elohim. Now he's not acknowledging he was in paganism. He's not acknowledging that he was in idolatry. Because they never do. They just want to attack those of us who are in the truth because the light shines on them in their darkness and they don't like the dark. They don't like the light. When people are in the darkness, they don't want no light shined on them. And Abayah's word is a light. Yahuwah is the ultimate light of the world. In the new heaven and new earth, he is going to be the sun. He is going to be the moon. There will be no need for a sun and moon where we're going. But see, when that light shines on them, they start attacking. They're like roaches. If you ever had roach infestation, your lights off, you turn the light on, boy, they start scattering. What the word say? Smite the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to attack this. They try to attack the messenger so that they can continue to live in their darkness because they love darkness. But y'all not having that. Not giving any of us any excuse. But not getting in. You don't get in because you chose not to. You wouldn't consider the truth when you heard it. Simple as that. What is truth? Yahweh's word is truth. Now the king want to attack the prophet. But that's how they do. Isn't that not what they're doing now, trying to shut us down on these channels and everything? It's exactly what they're doing. For any reason that they can think of. And like the book says, if they're going to come, go back and read Amos chapter 8, verse 11. It's going to be a famine of the word. Sooner or later, they're going to succeed in shutting us down. The question is, if you have the word inside you, the truth in you, brothers and sisters, you can't shut down what's inside of a person. You can imprison their outer body, but you can't imprison their soul. That soul belongs to Abayah. So that's what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. Come on the journey. Get it in now while you can get it in now. Because the night going to come and ain't nobody getting anything. When your time of trouble come, if you're not already on that ark or you're not already out of Sodom and Gomorrah, you're going to go down right around with the rest of them. You've been warned. There's a difference between being warned and being trapped. Elijah, they were trapped. So it wasn't anything they could do. So Abayas came on the scene to help them. Many of our people are warned. And I'm saying in the warning, that means you have time to do something. If you don't do it, you own the outcome. It's not the same. He got a ring of fire around me, yeah, to keep you from the enemy from attacking you unaware. But when he brings you the truth, that is the fire. When you reject that truth, there is no ring of fire around you. If he warns you, take heed to the warning. He's warning all of us. That's what these studies about. That's what this channel, End Time Messengers. We are warning Abayas people for their sake, on behalf of Abayas, as our assignment. And if you don't heed that warning, that ring of fire is not for you. Ring of fire is for those who can't do anything, and Abayas will put a ring of fire to protect them because they can't. But if you can and you want, that is totally on you. There's a difference between being trapped into something than being warned about something. When you're warned, you listen and you take action. Verse 32. Now he's threatening the man of Abayas. But Elijah sat in his house, and the elders sat with him. And that's what I'll say to my brothers and sisters. Don't let them scare you. If you're in this truth, stand. Don't let anybody say, oh, don't follow them. Oh, they are a cult. They are liars. Ain't no cult around here. I'm damn sure not in no damn body's cult. That's a damn lie if you're saying putting me in that mess. I follow Yahuwah in his word. Who you follow? Better yet, who they follow. Show now Yahuwah in his word, because they sure wouldn't be over there preaching some other Elohim. Verse 32, but Elijah sat in his house, and his elders sat with him, and the king sent a man before him. But the messenger came to him, and he said to the elders, see how this son of a murderer, he's talking about this wicked king. Now he sent a messenger to go and take the head of Elijah. And when the messenger gets there, Abayas is still protecting Elijah and the elders. He can protect us all. So you elders out there, male or female, he's got us. Don't panic. Do not panic. Stay calm. Stay focused. Let us stay together. Abayas got us. And when that enemy comes in, here as this enemy came in the house, there's an enemy coming in with a sword. The enemy came in there telling the truth. He that murderer king over there talking about coming to kill you. But I'm not putting my hands on you. I'm not touching Abayas or learning. I'm not going to do his prophet any harm. That foolish king must think I'm a fool. And that's how Abayas will work on, your enemies. If you serve him and him only. He said, see how this son of a murderer has sent to take away my head? I'm sorry, this is what Elijah is saying. Look at this man and send this devil in here to take away my head. But look, the messenger comes to the door and hold him fast at the door. Is not the sound of the master's feet behind him? And while he yet talked with him, behold, the messenger came down to him and said, behold, this is the evil of Yahuwah. What shall I wait for Yahuwah any longer? That messenger said, hey, look, I'm done with this. This Abayas judging this king, I ain't gonna be no part of it. And better yet, to open it up even broader, that's the way we should be looking at it. I'm not gonna listen to these heathens. This is Abayas talking to us. This is Abayas protecting us, my brothers and sisters, warning us. Don't listen to these heathens. I don't care who they send or how they send them, what they say or what they don't say, whether they're at the door or not. You hold your position, brothers and sisters. Stand your ground. And what's the ground that ground you're standing? Abayas righteousness, Abayas truth, through Abayas Torah, his Tanakh, and his apocryphal books. Now, brothers and sisters, for the most part, that was our Bible study. But more importantly, that is today's warning from Abayas to us, because he loves us. He loves you. That's why you're listening for 2 hours now. Now, what you do with it, again, totally up to you. But I would say, because it's Shabbat, reflect. Play the video back. Go back to the transcript. Play certain parts of this message back. Let it marinate, let it soak in, meditate on it. So it become a part of you. And then do the same thing as you're studying. Because again, time going to come, brothers and sisters, they're going to take all this away. And I'm not talking about a long time. Abayas is saying a lot sooner than we talking about. Come July, they're going to a whole different financial program, brothers and sisters. When they say you will own nothing and be happy about it, what they're simply saying, you are going to become the property of these governments. I don't care where you are. And if you don't go along with that direction, there's going to be a lot of pain and suffering happening. So why stick with them? Why stay over there? Come out while you can get out. Get in the book. Become a part of like-minded community believers. Because whoever you're walking with, that's who you're in agreement with. And as I stated before, you're more than welcome to join up with us. Like-minded believers studying the Torah. We don't have a church. We never will. We hope and pray to have an assembly like-minded people coming out of these wicked heathen cities. And some of my brothers and sisters who are part of the Bible study, let me say this to you. I have some of your contact information, so if you happen to see a message or a group text message, if it's me, you'll know it's me, discussing some things and maybe asking for some input from you, okay? So kind of keep an eye out for that. But that being said, brothers and sisters, thank you. Praise Yahuwah for this Shabbat. I praise Yahuwah. Thank you for your time. More importantly, I hope you're listening. I hope you are loving the word, our Yah's word. I hope you, again, hear with your ears, brother. Again, if you might need to play it back and then listen and take notes and write things down and then reflect on that. See if Abayas is guiding you in a particular direction so you'll know what you should be doing, know how you should be planning, knowing what he's asking of you for us. All right? Don't just listen to it and then go to the next whatever. I mean, you can. It's your choice. I get it. But do you understand what's at stake? If you understand what's at stake and nothing is new under the sun, you just heard what these two women were doing. You just heard what the curse in Deuteronomy said that would happen. Right? 28 and 53. Take heed while there's time. While you have an opportunity, when the knowledge is at your door. Don't be like this wicked demon at the door, coming to try to, attack the man of Abayah. No, be at the other door that gets sealed in and protects you through the power, like Noah on that ark. Sealed in, awaiting the new heaven and the new earth. The blessing that Abayah has in store for those who love him. Eye have not seen, ear has not heard, neither has it entered to our hearts the things that Abayah has prepared for us. That's for you too, if you're willing to accept it. How bad do you want it? Then do something about it. That being said, I want to thank everybody, those of you out here who have supported, me in the channel, allow me the flexibility to be able to do this, what I'm doing. I'm gonna do it no matter what anyway. But any help that any of you, it just lightens my burden a little bit, and I'm grateful. And I want to say thank you for those of you, who are supporting in other ways. Not always finances, but if you can financially, of course you should, because Yah will bless your finance by sharing your finances with us. But those who can't, then just being here, subscribing to the channel, sharing the message, praying for your brother as your brother pray for you. You're equally important is what I'm saying. It's a community like-minded. All of us have different roles. Understand your role and fulfill your role as Abayah has given it to you. Okay? And he's giving a role to all of us. We all have something. Nobody should be just sitting around, hanging out, doing nothing. Just listening. DFG's on, let me go listen. No, he's here, but I'm here for Abayah. I'm here for Yahuwah. It's not for pleasure listening, brothers and sisters. It's for education, information, edification, so that we be like-minded, walking in agreement, awaiting the return of Abba Yahuwah. All right, brothers, again, Shabbat Shalom. Brother DFG, bye now.